Hey, what's going on, everybody? Adam Castro here. Welcome to Sanctify Studios. I've got another song reaction for you today. I'm going to be reacting to Honor and Glory's brand new single, You Are God When the World Is on Fire. Now, this is a reaction I'm really excited about because you cannot talk about Honor and Glory without talking about the band Disciple. And if you know me or you've seen this channel for a while, you know I've got no shortage of Disciple t-shirts. They're one of my favorite bands. And the reason why you can't talk about Honor and Glory without Disciple is because Disciple is pretty much Honor and Glory. And I'll explain later. But first off, let's talk about Disciple. Disciple is a band that has been around for a very long time. They started around 1992. They've got at least 12 studio albums plus EPs and other song content. Including 2 Dove Award winners of Rock Album of the Year, 2008 Scars Remain, and 2011 Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, and they've been consistently nominated for various awards every single year they release music. Now, obviously, with being a band that's been around for so long, they've had a lot of rotations of members, but the current touring members of Disciple are frontman Kevin Young, who's been doing lead vocals ever since the inception of the band. We have Josiah Prince on guitar, and he's actually formerly of the band called Philmont, if you remember them. They were like a punk pop rock band back in the day. Really enjoyed their music growing up, a whole lot of fun. And he's also a producer at his studio called The Ranch. On the drums, we have Joey West, who's formerly of the band After Edmund. Andrew Stanton is another member who's also on guitar, and he's formerly of the band called I Am Empire. Now, I Am Empire had a very similar sound and feel to Disciple, so you'll definitely want to check them out. But he's also a producer at Dive Bomb Studios. And fun little fact, I've been a student under him for about a year, under his Stanton Guitar Academy. I've been taking guitar lessons from him, and it's just been an honor and a joy. He's a solid guy, and it's been a lot of fun learning from him. And last but not least, we have Marco Pera, who's been filling in on the bass and also filling in on the electric guitar when Andrew Stanton isn't there. And he's just a really well-rounded musician. He plays guitar, he plays bass, he sings, he screams. He is the guitarist and co-vocalist for the band called Amongst the Giants. And it's been really cool to just see him be a part of the group and fill in all those areas. So here's the deal. Each and every one of those members who are touring for the band Disciple are actually also touring for Honor and Glory. It's basically the same band, but just a different identity because it's a completely different genre. We have one addition to this group, and his name is Dane Allen. He's playing acoustic guitar and doing harmony vocals, and he is the lead singer of the band called Loyals, and he also, along with Josiah Prince, created this other pop-punk rock band called All Right Years. So we have this little, like, Disciple verse going on, which is really cool. It's just an awesome group of guys who are all great musicians, making music that is sanctifying and making music that is giving glory to God. But that main difference there between Disciple and Honor and Glory is that Disciple's music is definitely leaning more into the rock and metal, whereas Honor and Glory is a worship band. It's definitely music that is geared towards worship. And I really like what JesusFreakHideout.com said about Honor and Glory, so I'm going to go ahead and read this from there. It says, Honor and Glory is a worship band comprised of Kevin Young, Josiah Prince, and Joey West, veteran musicians who are best known as members of the hard rock band Disciple. The venture into vertically directed lyrics backed by a melodicism that is right at home in a corporate worship setting might seem surprising on the surface, but it's a move that makes perfect sense given each of the band members' histories. All 3 musicians have put in years of service in local churches and have long been passionate worshipers of God through their music. And Kevin Young is quoted to say that where the mission of Disciple is to reach the unreachable, the vision of Honor and Glory is to create a musical atmosphere where hearts, minds, souls, and voices center on the greatness and wonders of our amazing God through worship. So in November of 2020, we got the announcement that we were going to be getting a Disciple worship team called Honor and Glory. And I was one of the ones who was really excited about this because when I think about someone who is passionate about worshiping God, I think about Kevin Young and the kind of music that he writes and the ways that he writes it and just how he's so passionate when he sings it. So hearing that this was going to happen was just awesome. We got our first single back in August 6th, 2021, and that was their version of Battle Belongs, which is great. I'm playing that lead line now when I help with worship on my worship team. We got another single on September 10th of 2021 called God of My Story, which was an original, and that was really cool. We got another single February 4th, 2022 called Jesus, We Love You. So go check all of those out. They're really great. Today, I'm going to be reacting to their fourth single that they've released called You Are God When the World is on Fire. And being that Disciple is one of my favorite bands, I am a member of their Patreon, the Rebel Society. I've been a member for about a year, if not more. And I was able to get some background information on the song. And so Kevin Young talks about how he really wrote this song in the midst of all of the stuff we were going through in 2020. So just having in the back of his mind things like COVID, the lockdowns, the riots, people losing their jobs, them not being able to tour, and just people feeling lost and divided. And so he wanted to write a song that was really going to speak to those things. And he was wanting the song to come out, and he really wanted people to connect with that song in those ways. And in God's sovereignty, the date that this song came out was actually February 25th, 2022, which was when Russia invaded Ukraine. And so it's just amazing how in God's sovereignty, even when we are like, no, we want it to be this way, God still sometimes God always has a better plan in mind. And sometimes we just have to trust in that plan. So this song got released February 25th, 2022. And there's a verse that Kevin Young shared in his Nothing Left Unsaid segment in the Patreon that kind of sets the tone for this song. So I want to share it with you guys here. And it's Isaiah 41, verse 10. Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. Those are crazy words of encouragement and words that we need to remind ourselves no matter what times are going on around us, no matter what's going on within us or around us in the world, in our communities, in the culture. We need to remember that God is with us and that God still has his victorious right hand holding us and holding the world. So with that, let's get into the song. Here is You Are God When the World is on Fire by Honor and Glory. Love how this is starting out.
When fear is closing in, you tell my heart be still, 'cause the whole world is in your hands.
Wow.
When darkness covers me, the light breaks when you speak, 'cause the whole world is in your hands. Yeah, the whole world is in your hands. You are God when the world is on fire, when it seems out of control. You are God of infinite power, unrivaled, Lord of all, and the whole world is in your hands.
Love how it's building up here.
Yeah, the whole world is in your hands.
First, I just got to say that, wow, the message of this song and these words that are just speaking to so many people's emotions right now when it feels like things are out of control, we have to remember that God holds the whole world in his hand. And when darkness is closing in, when I'm feeling this brokenness, that God is just saying, be still, telling my heart, right? How many times do we feel anxiety and our heart is racing, and yet we have to remind ourselves and ask God to tell our heart to just be still. I am God, and I am still with you, and I am still holding the whole world in my hand. Wow.
I won't be
I won't be
overwhelmed
overwhelmed.
by things I cannot change, 'cause the whole world is in your hands.
And it's saying, like, I may feel all these things. I may feel like all these things are going on, but I'm going to be resolved. I won't be overwhelmed. I won't be overwhelmed because I know that you are God.
Yeah, the whole world is in your hands. You are God when the world is on fire.
Beautiful
When
vocals.
it seems out of control, you are God of infinite power, unrivaled, Lord of
Unrivaled. Unrivaled. Put up COVID against God, you know? Put up lockdowns against God. Put up this war that's going on against God. Put up anything that you are struggling with. Put it up against God, and he is still Lord over it. He is still stronger than all those things. He is still more faithful. He is still able to deliver us and be a refuge to us in those times. He's unrivaled, Lord of all. I love that.
all, and the whole world is in your hands. Yeah, the whole world is in your
We're seeing some really beautiful images here of of a baby, of birds, of the fish. You know, we're seeing all these beautiful images here and just reminding us that there is still beauty in the world. Even when it feels, there seems like the whole world is on fire, we have to remember that God is still doing beautiful things in the world.
I am letting go of worry. I am casting off anxiety. For the God who brings the dead to life is the God who is alive in me. I am letting
Oh man, I'm letting go of worry. I'm casting out anxiety. How many of us need to do that? How many of us need to be encouraged and be resolved to do that in our lives? And you know, it's what's crazy, that line that it said right there of the God who brings the dead to life is the God who is alive in me. We have to remember that the God that we serve is capable of doing powerful, supernatural things, things that we cannot do, things that we cannot control. We serve a powerful God, a God who can bring the dead to life. And that's something that I have to remind myself sometimes. Sometimes I want to just like put things in my logical head and say like, oh, God wouldn't do that. Or, you know, that doesn't make sense. Like, God is beyond our sense. God is beyond our understanding.
go of worry. I am casting off anxiety. For the God who brings the dead to life is the God who is alive in me. You are God when the world is on fire. When it seems out of control, you are God of infinite
Infinite power. Infinite power.
unrivaled, Lord of all. You are God when the world is on fire. When it seems out of control, you are God of infinite power, unrivaled, Lord of all. And the whole world is in your hands.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, the whole world is in your hands. The whole world is in your
So good.
hands.
Listen to all that. So beautiful. So, so beautiful. Wow, that is just such a beautiful, beautiful song. And just again, these words of saying, my fear is closing in, telling my heart to be still when the darkness is covering me. when it seems like things are out of control, when our vision is blurred by the things that we see around us, by the world that seems like it's on fire around us, when our vision is just focused on those things, we need to remember our heavenly perspective and remember that God is telling our heart to be still, that He holds the whole world in His hands, that light breaks when He speaks, that He has infinite power, He is unrivaled. And so knowing those things, I love what it says here in the verse, that we have to let go of our worry. We have to cast off all our anxiety and put it on Him, because He is the God who brings the dead to life, and that God is who is alive in me. Beautiful, beautiful lyrics. Man, I love this song. This is gonna be one of those amazingly spiritually grounding songs for me. And so great job, you guys. I want to leave you guys with some verses just to encourage you. Philippians 4:6-7. Be anxious for nothing. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, it surpasses any logic that you might have, anything that you think is possible or impossible, it will surpass all your understanding, and it will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Such encouraging words. I want to read to you 1 Peter 5:6-7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time He may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on Him. Why? Because He cares for you. Man, we have to remember that this isn't just a God who's up there who doesn't, care what's going on in the world. He cares for you. He loves you. And the last verse I want to share with you guys is Jeremiah 17:7-8. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose trust is the Lord. He is like a tree planted by water that sends out its roots by the stream and does not fear when the heat comes, for its leaves remain green, and is not anxious in the year of drought, for it does not cease to bear fruit. We serve a God who has endless and infinite power. He is unrivaled. If we are going to Him for strength, if we are going to Him to be our refuge, and we are going to Him for our peace, then it will not run out in times of drought. It will not run out when bad times come around us. We can rest in Him and have that constant flow of power, that constant flow of peace, that constant flow of knowing that we don't have to understand what's going on around us. When the world seems like it's on fire, when everything seems dark, we know that God is still in control. Guys, go support Honor and Glory. Go check out all of their stuff. They are releasing a new album March 18th. So it's going to have these songs on it and more. I'm really excited for it. So go check them out. Go follow them. Go to their Instagram. Go to their website. Go check out their merch, everything you can. Go check out Disciple as well. Give them a follow. And also, if you enjoyed this video, you can hit the subscribe button. You can give me a thumbs up. You can comment below with what you enjoyed about the song, any other songs you'd like for me to react to. And you can go to my Instagram, Sanctify Studios, or go to www.sanctifystudios.com for more information. I hope you guys have a great day. Until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.